thing. I don't know if you guys can see this. I broke a tooth, if you want to call it, off of this tap. Well, that's a 3/4 inch bit, and I destroyed that. I don't know what was going on. There was a hard spot, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to scrap this. Okay, kids, welcome back to the shop. Today, we're going to make a machinist jack. And let me explain what that is. First off, when you're machining something, big like this, this is probably exaggerated. It's clamped down in the vise, and then if you're machining out here, you get all kind of vibration, or over there. So what you do is, they have what's called a machinist jack, and it's a little deceiving because this little tiny thing is the machinist jack. So you put it underneath here, and you'd wind it down, or you'd have to take off one of these and shim it, or wind this up like this. Probably can't see, but you wind it up, get it where you need it, and then you take this and you tighten it down, right? And you have to make sure that you don't move this. The problem is just like what you saw me do. You have to have it just the right size, the right combination. And I've used these before and they move around. I can't get them tight enough. You have this, I don't like it. Or you have this that you put on somehow, probably flip it over, and then it'll hold on to a round piece. So to me, this is very hokey. Other people have made machinist jacks. To me, this is not a jack. It might be a screw jack. This is a jack, right? This is a scissor jack. This is what you use in a car. This will support something. Because think about this. This machine is, what, 2,000 pounds, something like that. Everything's real rigid. You put this in the vise, you smack it down so it's nice and tight, and then you have this little dinky thing supporting it. I was thinking about using this, but I think that'll be too much modifications. So I'm going to make my own machinist jack. So stay tuned, leave a comment, let me know what you think. All right, back at the bench, going to give you an idea of what I'm going to try to do here. Some other ideas too, or a little bit of info. This thing's roughly close to 1 inch total. What I'm going to make is going to be almost 2 inches. All right, and this is the idea. So I'm going to have this big chunk of metal, right? Look at that thing. I'm going to have this pad, right? So this is going to go down inside here like, and then inside this, I'm going to have a stud stick up like, and then this will screw onto the stud and adjust up and down. And what's going to keep it rigid, if you want to say that, which it is, I'm going to machine this to match this so it slides up and down. And then the stud is there for adjustment for this to go up and down. And then in order to lock it into place, I will drill a series of set screws, and the set screws will go against this and lock this into place. So I won't have any set screws against the threads and booger them up. Then what I will do is I will take a piece of metal similar to this, maybe not this one, and attach everything to it, which I'm guessing, I don't have this all worked out, but I'm thinking just pin it in place because it doesn't need to be permanently put on here. And then I will make a hole, actually make a slot for the T-slot so we can move this into other slots. So no matter where I need it, I could have it out of the way, but I can still lock it down on a T-slot. This can go into place, and this will be adjustable. I do have to take a couple more measurements at the vise. I might have to make 2 of these. One, so when I have something at the bottom of the vise, not on parallels, that this will work. And if I have something at the top of the vise on my bigger parallels, I have to have enough throw, if you want to say, but I have to take some measurements to see. I know I'm yapping a lot. This, I don't know where I got this. This was a piece of scrap I found. You guys know I dumpster dive. I saw this. I'm like, hey, I'm keeping this, so I'm going to use that. This is some cut-offs from something. And then I have some extra flat stock laying around. So this is going to be all from scrap. All right, let's get to work. Plus, I was trying to, I'm going to start using those. I'm going to start using the fly cutters. So, we'll figure it out. Let's back away here, a little power. So what I was yapping at there was I destroyed my fly cutter trying to machine this part down, and then what I tried to do, I thought I could use a left-handed turning tool from the lathe. It sure looked like a fly cutter. I destroyed that. Unfortunately, I lost that footage. So this project's claiming a lot of my tools. Alright, so what's going on here is my mill isn't wide enough to make a full width cut. So I'm going to make a cut down the center and then go to each side and make a small cut. It turns out pretty good, but you can see those shadows. You can't feel them, but you can see them.
I know you guys can see that, but you cannot feel it. So that looks pretty good. So let's flip it over, do the other side.
So on this side, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to mill the two sides first, just take some small cuts, and then mill down the center. I'm going to make sure that I have my feed set, and I am going to use the automatic feed. So it's going to be a consistent feed all the way through the cut. And check out the finish. It actually looks like I have chamfers on it.
So you see how that finish looks a lot better, in my opinion. You can see the shadow here, but it looks like a chamfer. That's a pretty good little trick that you can do on these parts where the mill is almost as wide. So this will be up, the other side will be down. Appearance is everything. Looking pretty good. Let's see. No rock. Okay. We can live with that. That's what I want. I know I'm probably being a little anal about that, but that's the idea. We're trying to get rid of the vibration. So that's going to work out good. I cleaned up the ends here. We'll go back over to the bench. Check it out.
Okay, here's a quick and dirty on a little bit of an illusion and feed rate. So look at this side. Look how it looked kind of crappy because I would come in here, moved back, adjusted my depth of cut. I made the cut first with the carbide cutter. It had the edges on it, so then I did this side, and you can see the finish isn't that good. This one I did it a little bit different. I took a slight cut here, a slight cut here, which you can see that, but it kind of looks chamfered. And then I came in, I did my one depth cut, the same feed rate through the whole thing, and it looks consistent. If I would have slowed this down, my finish would have been a lot better. But there's a quick and dirty on feed rates and order of machining, so you get a little bit of an illusion. All right, this is looking pretty good. This side will be down. Now I can start taking my measurements for the height of the actual jack itself. Okay, I've been doing some ciphering here, and what I came up with is this piece here, which is going to be this piece, needs to be 1.6 inches high. This, I need to remove a 1/2 inch. And that'll give me a height, if I stick to these dimensions, of 2.335. My target was 2.330, which is fine. When I measured the bottom of the working surface of the vise to the table, I got 2.30. So that's why I wanted this here. It would be 100 thousandths of play.
So that should be pretty good. Sorry about the shadow here. Figure this out. Can you guys see that now? It's the camera. So now let's head to the lathe and let's start getting this. I'm going to turn this down so it looks decent. I got to drill the hole because we need, remember, we need to, this needs to fit down in there, which this is 1 inch, and we need to thread it for 1/2 inch. And I think what I'm going to do is make, I think what I'm doing is I'm going to thread this down. It's going to go through this and into the base, and then this will thread down through. So this rod, this threaded rod, will also help keep this in place too. I believe that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. I just want to clean this end up so I have a nice smooth or clean finish to put into the 3-jaw chuck. I do a skim pass here just to clean it up. You know, we want this thing to look nice. I make a witness mark. This is actually the end of the part. So now let's drill it. Now remember, the part is 1.5 inch total. The pedestal is going to be in 1 inch, and then the last 1/2 inch is going to be the threaded 1/2 inch 13 hole. So we're only going to drill in here 1 inch. This is the 1 inch drill bit, and remember, we needed a depth of 1 inch. Okay, drilling for the 1/2 inch 13. This is a 27/64. See, I have a mark right there. Let's do a little power tapping. I just want to get it started. Don't get cocky. I don't know if you guys can see this. I broke a tooth, if you want to call it, off of this tap. Hopefully I have another half. So I don't know what's happening here, so I'm going to part this off now and then finish tapping this on the bench so I can see what's going on. As you guys might know, or you might not, is parting off a tool is a delicate process. Things can go haywire, especially if you have something that's a larger diameter, because the parting tool, mine at least, has a limited depth. So you have to make a series of relief cuts so you can get in deep enough. And instead of me going to the bandsaw like I normally do to cut it off, I decided I'm going to use my cutoff tool. I thought it would create good content, and stay tuned. I think it did. Whoa-wee. Wow, what happened? What happened? Come on. After watching the footage, obviously I figured it out, at least I think I do. It was a boneheaded move. I was making a plunge cut with that tool. It was cutting on both sides, and it caught, apparently. It didn't like, doing a plunge cut, and it ripped it right out of the chuck. The lathe did stall out, so that worked out well, so it wasn't a disaster, and I didn't scrap the part. Oh. So I didn't record any of that. Perfect. Jeez. Well, guys, sorry, I thought I had you on, but I cleaned this up. It's looking pretty good. I chamfered that. So, all right, sorry about that. Okay, looking pretty good. Now we have to get the inside dimension of that, because this will not fit. This is exactly 1 inch, and even though I drilled that 1 inch, you would think it would be 1 inch. So here's my inside bore gauge, right?
put it in there like, huh? Lock it down. Oh, take it out. Look, I got a micrometer. You guys never see me use a micrometer. So I do know that it's under an inch. And shaky them oil here. I'm going to call that. Let's lock it. Okay, so we got 0.975 plus 8 roughly, and that'll give us 0.983. It's actually in between there, but so now I just got to figure out a clearance because we do want, you know, this is going to have to move up and down. So let's just figure out a clearance. I'll figure that out, and I will see you at the lathe. Okay, I got a little problem. So I went to the lathe, I didn't show you, and I chucked this in, and I knew that it was going to be out of whack, right? Because it's in a 3-jaw chuck. You know, who knows? This looks like it was welded, so I'm all right with that. So it was. So we measured 0.983 was the inside, right? This is 1.006. That's a difference of 0.023. So that means total diameter we have to remove is 0.023. On each side here, it would have to be 0.0115, and I do have that written down right there, and I'm cheating, right? So I'm thinking, okay, no big deal. But I also was wondering, well, no, it is a big deal because everything needs to be concentric to that hole, right? Because we're putting a thread in it, right? So I can't have the hole out of whack with the outside diameter. It would jam up. So I'm like, okay, great, that's fine. I'll turn a mandrel, put it in here, and everything will be turned off of the hole, right? But as you look, can you guys see that? So the hole isn't centered in the shaft. So there we got 0.290. Let's flip it a little bit. 0.285. That's not so bad. 0.273. You can visually see that's out of whack. So we can't have that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to machine a plug. It's going to have a press fit. I'm going to press this into place, and then I will chuck it in the lathe, turn this to the diameter that I want, drill the hole, right? So now the hole will be concentric to this. And then if I think I need to, I will flip it around and turn this. Okay? That's what we're going to do. That's next. So after doing some math, I realized I should have a 3/4 inch plug. So I start here with my 9/16 drill bit, and it's bent. As you can see, that destroyed that bit. So next I step up to 5/8. This actually was going pretty good until I got about 3/4 of the way through, and then I hit something hard and it stopped drilling, and I destroyed that bit. So after that I decided, you know, 3 times is a charm, is that what they say? So I put the 3/4 inch bit in, flipped the part around, and decided to drill it through the opposite direction, and you guessed it, I destroyed that bit. So I decided, well, I'm hard-headed. I pulled it out, sharpened it, destroyed it again. As you saw, I destroyed another bit. And if we review the footage, when I was drilling at 5/8, because that's what I ended up drilling, not a 9/16, when I was drilling at 5/8, it went so far and it stopped. It wouldn't go any further. Didn't quite understand why. The hole is wallowed out because that bit was bent, so I couldn't use that to make a plug. So I decided to drill 3/4 of an inch down through here because that's what this top bevel insert, whatever you want to call it, was. And as you could see, I didn't get too far and it destroyed the bit. Well, on further inspection, I'll guarantee you I was hitting this weld. Alright, sorry guys, I got to cut this video short. It's getting kind of long. I know you guys don't like part 2, but this is going to have to be a part 2. Let me know what you think. Should I running boring bar down through this and maybe destroy a carbide tip? Should I just make a whole new piece out of that piece of metal there sitting on the workbench. You know, sometimes it's not worth it trying to take a shortcut. You know, I had this thing laying around. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and always thanks for watching. Please subscribe.